I used to be pretty fat and pretty chubby, but then I lost all the weight, I burned off all the body fat, I got shredded, and I'm here to tell you the story of how I went from fat to shredded and attractive. I'm here to tell you the story, and I'm also here to tell you all the benefits that I experienced and still continue to experience today, ever since I went from fat to shredded. Alright, title of this video, how I went from fat to shredded plus its benefits. My name is Dominic Dopert. So, I started lifting weights around 15 years ago. So I went to university, it's called the University of Augsburg in Bavaria, Germany. It's in the south of Germany. It's near Munich, you might have heard that. So I went to university in Augsburg. I moved there. Before that, obviously, I lived with my parents. So I moved there and I started lifting weights when I was like 20 years old. So that was like 15 years ago. And as a kid, I used to be pretty skinny, very skinny. As you can tell, I have like pretty thin wrists. So I'm what you would call a hard gainer, which means like it's not so easy for me to build muscle mass. Actually, a lot of my clients, their genetics is a lot better. You know, their genetics are a lot better than mine. But yeah, so growing up, I was always the skinny kid. And so when I was 17, I went to high school in the US as an exchange student in Wisconsin. And at high school, a lot of kids, they came up to me and was like, "Hey Dom, you're so skinny. Is everybody in Germany so skinny?" And that was the first time I ever heard the word like skinny. I was like, I'm not skinny, you know, I'm normal. I'm just normal. But yeah, so that's kind of where it started, was like, yeah, I guess I'm skinny. So when I was 20, I wanted to build muscle mass and gain some weight, you know, because I read on the internet that in order to be a man, you know, you gotta have muscle mass, you gotta be masculine, and if you build muscle mass, you know, like dating will be a lot easier, and yeah, and life would be better. Alright, so I decided to build muscle mass and gain weight, build muscle mass and say goodbye to the skinny version of myself. Alright, so I started lifting weights when I was like 20 years old. When I went to the University of Augsburg in Germany, I started lifting weights. And I thought that, you know, I had to eat as much as possible. So here's one story. I lived with a roommate. He was a good friend of mine, and we pretty much ate like cheese pizza every single day. Pretty much I ate pizza every single day with my roommate. And in order to bump up my calories, I would pour olive oil onto the pizza. And if that wasn't bad enough, I used to put olive oil into shot glasses and I would down it. But you know, it tastes like so gross and disgusting. Like if you drink straight olive oil, it's like super disgusting. So, you know, I had a little trick. I had a glass of water and, you know, I put the water in my mouth. Like so. And I'd keep it in my mouth. And the olive oil, you know, it like go over the water into my body, and it wouldn't touch my tongue, and so I could avoid, you know, the disgusting taste. But yeah, so I would pour olive oil, you know, on my cheese pizza in order to bump up calories, right? Because I had to get big, you know, build muscle mass, get big, and I did get big. As a matter of fact, I got fat, I got chubby, I gained a lot of body weight, but here's the kicker. I didn't even notice. Like, this might sound crazy. It sounds crazy to me now as well, but the thing is, I didn't even realize that I gained so much body fat. So point number 2, I didn't notice that I gained a lot of body fat. I didn't notice for years. So obviously, you know, I looked into the mirror every single day. Like after the gym, you know, I'd like pose and flex, check myself out and take photos of myself every single day, right? To like track my progress. But when I looked in the mirror, you know, under the like right lighting, I looked kind of shredded, at least so I thought. And I was like, yeah, you know, like I'm looking pretty good. Like, yeah, you know, like that's pretty much all muscle mass. Maybe I gained a little bit of body fat, but yeah, probably like 95% pure muscle mass. It's pretty much all muscle mass, right? Because like when the lighting's good, right, even if you're like chubby and you have a lot of fat around your waist, you know, here around the stomach and belly, if you have a lot of body fat there, I don't, but I used to. But if the lighting's good, right, and you have like decent abs, you can sort of see like, you know, you can sort of see you know, six-pack abs, or like abs, or like two abs maybe. So yeah, I thought like, when I looked in the mirror, I saw myself as being like strong and shredded, pretty low body fat and very muscular, right? But actually, two really cool stories. So during that time, so I used to play ping pong, you know, table tennis. I used to play it in a club ever since I was a kid. And just gotta tuck in my shirt. All right, here we go. All right, so I used to play table tennis in a club. And in my hometown where I grew up, it's called Feuchtwangen, it's in Bavaria. Where I grew up, I used to play ping pong, table tennis. I also played in a league. And my colleague, my teammate, his name was Manu. Greetings. His name was Manu, and his mom, she hadn't seen me in like a couple of months, half a year, ever since I went off to college, to university. And my friend's mom, who hadn't seen me in quite some time, she said to me, "Hey Dom, you gained a bunch of weight, didn't ya? You got a little bit fat, didn't ya? Like your face looks kind of fat, right?" And I was like, nah, you're totally wrong about that. As a matter of fact, it's all muscle mass. It's all muscle mass. Like, you're totally wrong about that. So, because in my mind, you know, when I looked at myself in the mirror, I thought like, yeah, you know, I'm pretty shredded. So yeah, that was the first time. And the second time was I got invited to a friend's wedding. His name was Aaron. He was a good friend of mine. And I hadn't seen him in 2 years, right? He invited me to his wedding. And when I was there, my friend Aaron, he came up to me and was like, "Damn boy, you gained a little weight, didn't ya? Gained a little weight there, got a little bit chubby." And I was like, "No way, man, that's all muscle mass. I mean, look at that." It's like, you know, do you see those abs? Even though, I'll show you photos, I'll try to like insert the photos, even though I was obviously very chubby. And also in the photos, it was like pretty bad. Now looking back, if you get my book, there's plenty of photos of me like where I was a lot fatter. So yeah, even though two people who knew me very well told me, "Hey Dom, you gained a bunch of weight, you got a little bit fat, you got a little bit chubby," even though they told me directly to my face, my brain didn't realize it. I was like, no way. I told them, I was like, no way, you're totally wrong about that. It's actually all muscle mass. Like I just gained like a lot of muscle mass. That's it, I gained a lot of muscle mass. It's not fat. Yeah, so they told me, people told me, but my brain still wouldn't believe it. And like I said, when I looked in the mirror, I saw myself as, you know, pretty shredded, pretty lean, good six-pack abs, even though there were no six-pack abs. And compared to now, I was a lot chubbier, a lot fatter. But yeah, I didn't realize, and my brain just couldn't really, didn't notice that I got so much fatter. Alright, so, but then everything changed. Everything changed, and I had a big epiphany. So, you know, I studied geography at the University of Augsburg. I studied geography, and for that we had to do a bunch of excursions. That meant I had to go to Sicily. That's an island in the south of Italy in Europe. I went to Sicily and I had to give a presentation on the volcano there, and I talked about, I think it's called the Etna. It's a big mountain there in Sicily, Italy. And so yeah, I had to give a presentation about, you know, like the ground is very fertile because you know, it's like a volcano, right? And there's so many minerals in the ground, and that's why people live there, whatever, right? So that's why I went to Sicily, and I was there with a group, right? And so it was during summer, so the weather was good, and we were on the beach. We were at the beach a lot, and a friend of mine, he had a really good camera, and so he always took photos of us. And so he took photos of me, you know, chilling at the beach, playing volleyball with my friends there. He took photos of me. All right, so then after that, I flew back to Germany. And back in Germany, I was like, oh yeah, I'd love to see the photos of our excursion in Sicily, Italy. So I went to Facebook, and I wanted to find the photos that my friend took of me. So I logged into my computer, and I saw the photos, and I was totally shocked. I was shocked, and I was appalled, and I was disgusted. I was shocked because I saw myself, and I was like, that's not me. Who's that guy? Who's that guy with that like fat, round face, with those disgusting chubby cheeks and double chin? Who's that fatso? That's not me. But obviously it was me. So yeah, I was shocked. I was literally like, I was shocked. I was shocked how I could have gotten so fat without even noticing. Like, that was what was shocking to me. Even though I took photos of myself, you know, after a gym session, and in front of the mirror, I would take photos of myself always to track my progress. But yet, it wasn't enough for my brain to fully realize, you know, the changes that my body went through. So, when I saw the photos that my friend took of me on the beach, I was shocked. I was like, no way, wow, that's incredible. How could I have gotten this fat without even noticing? And it wasn't just the photos without shirt. So even there's a photo. I'll try to show you the photo here in this video. There's a photo where I was wearing a t-shirt, but my face just was round and fat. I had, like I said, double chin, chubby cheeks, and I just looked fat and not attractive. It just looked kind of unattractive, old, out of shape, even though I was working out a lot. At that time, I didn't drink any alcohol, not a drop. I hadn't had any alcohol in like a year. I was working out, and yet I didn't look good. Yeah, I was so shocked about that. I was so appalled, and I was also like disgusted at myself. So I decided I need to get shredded. I need to burn off that disgusting body fat, and so I did. Within 4 or like 5 or 6 weeks, I burned off all the excess body fat, and after those like 4, 5, 6 weeks, I looked like a totally different person. Like, my face just looked totally different. Like, all of a sudden, you know, it was like nice and chiseled, attractive face, good body. But yeah, I was super extreme though, like, because it triggered me like so hardcore. I was so shocked and I was so disgusted with myself that I had gotten so fat that I went like extreme. So like, I took my diet, I took cardio, I took lifting weights, working out, everything. I took it to the very extreme. You probably couldn't get any more extreme than that. And I'll show you the before and after photos. But yeah, so I burned off so much body fat within those 4 to 5, 6 weeks. and I looked like a totally different person afterwards. And